The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers hint that 5 February story developments are on the way, so some can't miss moments are ahead. Let's talk about how the drama will heat up as some big events and complex romances take center stage. 1. Will and Electra's relationship starts to crumble. For starters, Electra Forrester and Will Spencer's relationship will be put to the test. Will and Electra could fail that test if they aren't careful, since B&B spoilers indicate that their romance will take some major hits. 2. Steffi hosts Bachelorette Bash for Daphne. On a happier note, Steffi Forrester Finnegan will fulfill her Matron of Honor duties and host an amazing bachelorette party for Daphne Rose. It's sure to be an event to remember, but will there be any drama before the marriage ceremony? 3. Carter and Daphne's wedding day arrives. No matter what last-minute snags might arise, Daphne and Carter Walton are indeed going to tie the knot. Daphne and Carter will hold their wedding in the Forrester showroom as they pledge to love each other forever, or at least as long as forever lasts on a soap. 4. RJ's messy love life. Next, RJ Forrester's own love life could get messy. Electra's problems with Will could make it easy for RJ to comfort Electra and pursue her romantically. However, we have to consider RJ's connection to Dylan as well. Will RJ develop feelings for Dylan, or perhaps conspire with her as she goes after Will? Either way, RJ's love life is bound to get complicated, so stick with us for updates on any news regarding his romantic future. 5. Daphne and Carter's baby-making mission begins soon after Carter and Daphne become husband and wife. They'll begin their baby-making mission. Daphne and Carter will be eager to start their family as soon as possible, so they'll make that a priority after their nuptials. Unfortunately, that's when Carter and Daphne could face their first real bump in the road as a married couple. If some infertility issues are on the horizon, that may bring a new challenge for Daphne and Carter to tackle together. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say fans will see plenty of excitement this February and beyond, so stay tuned. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for Wednesday, February 4th, reveal that Liam Spencer will find out that Eric Forrester works for Katie Logan Spencer. Ridge Forrester's guilt will also hit hard, so let's talk about what's coming up on B&B. For starters, Eric will show off some incredible new designs and impress Katie in the process. Katie will be thrilled over Eric's sketches and will think he definitely understands her vision for Logan. Starting a fashion house is no easy task, but Katie will feel good about the direction things are headed in after she sees Eric's work. Katie will look forward to their continued collaboration and hope Eric can be the one to put Logan on the map. However, Eric will be adamant that no one else can know about his role at Logan. Although Eric plans to tell Ridge, Brooke Logan Forrester, and everyone else at Forrester Creations eventually, he'll insist on keeping a tight lid on his secret for now. Of course, secrets have a way of leaking on the CBS soap, so Liam will find out what Eric is hiding. Once Liam gets updates on Eric accepting the new designer job, he'll be thrilled for Katie, even if he perhaps worries about the Forresters' reaction. Eric, Katie, and Bill Spencer will count on Liam to keep quiet about what he's learned, so he may promise that his lips are sealed. In the meantime, Ridge will deal with some guilt on Wednesday's B&B episode. Since Ridge shoved Eric right out the Forrester door into retirement, that may be the reason why he'll be so guilt-ridden. Ridge ultimately backtracked and urged Eric to return to Forrester Creations if he wanted, but Eric declined to take him up on that. Now Ridge is probably worried about Eric sitting around twiddling his thumbs and being bored out of his mind. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Ridge won't realize Eric is feeling reinvigorated thanks to his work at Logan, but that shocking news will come out down the road. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers hint that Sheila Sharp's new man could change everything. Will Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes realize they need a matchmaking solution? Steffi Forrester Finnegan is understandably concerned about what'll happen if Deacon divorces Sheila for Taylor. It could leave Sheila feeling abandoned and ready to strike back at Taylor for stealing her husband. However, there might be a solution to that problem if Taylor and Deacon think hard enough. Deacon is ready to move on from Sheila now that he's found someone better. So what if Sheila had a shiny new love interest to get her attention too? If Taylor and Deacon can shove Sheila toward another guy, they might help her see the potential for a future without Deacon. Perhaps Sheila could even be the one to push for a divorce and suggest to Deacon that it's time to let go of their marriage. If Sheila were the one to end things, then maybe she wouldn't complain about Deacon moving on with Taylor. Deacon and Taylor could make it seem like he was drawn to her in heartbreak after Sheila left him. In that case, Sheila might be happy Taylor and Deacon found each other, at least as long as she's got someone better to keep her own bed warm. The tricky part could be finding a man who'd actually fall for Sheila without enabling her worst tendencies. Sheila probably got fan mail in prison from all kinds of guys who were turned on by her crimes. There are surely still twisted men who'd love to have their chance, but they might fuel Sheila's sinister side rather than curbing it like Deacon did. That said, there might be some lonely guy like Deacon was when he first fell for Sheila and needed someone like her in his life. If Deacon and Taylor can nail down a new love interest for Sheila, it could be the first step into them being a real B&B couple. If Sheila is content with someone else and not interested in retaliating against Taylor, that might be the only way Steffi will allow Taylor and Deacon to live happily ever after. Of course, playing Cupid is also the kind of thing that tends to go horribly wrong on a soap, so stay tuned for updates on any bad news that might be brewing. The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers say some surprises are still in store when it comes to Sheila. As the episode begins, Taylor is at the beach house, reeling from Steffi's threat and talking to herself. At Il Giardino, Deacon is still trying to let Sheila down easy. Over at Forrester, RJ is drawing dresses in the CEO's office and revealing to Carter that he's crushing on cousin Electra. Finally, Dylan arrives in the showroom, where Will and Electra are dying to hear her news. Just then, Scary Poppins Ivy comes in and encourages her to keep talking. After the opening credits, Dylan lies that she got a job out of town, so she'll be leaving LA. "I was given an opportunity that I couldn't refuse," she says, eyeing Ms. Proper Ivy. What's more, Dylan announces that she's already cleared her things out of Will's apartment. She's vamoosing immediately. Before Dylan exits, Electra asks for details. Dylan will text them," she says, adding that she hopes Electra knows how much she appreciates her kindness. Cue Ivy literally rolling her eyes. Outside the showroom, the Aussie tells Dylan that now she won't spill her dirty secret to Electra. "Goodbye, Miss Dylan." In the CEO's office, Carter catches a glimpse of RJ's sketches and is impressed. The young man says that he wants to be sure he wants to work there before letting in Ridge on his latest work. He still feels bad about bailing on the gig the last time he was nepo-babied up the corporate ladder. Before Deacon can spit it out that he's leaving Sheila, Tyler calls her away to speak to the chef. Just then, Taylor phones, summoning Deacon to Steffi's. Once he arrives, Taylor is relieved to hear that he didn't talk to Sheila yet. Taylor then explains that Steffi threatened to dump her unless she dumped Deacon. "I can't lose her," Taylor says, "but I can't lose you either." The couple reaffirm their love even as they wonder how the heck they got to this place. "With every cell of my body, I want you," Deacon says. "I need you." Taylor isn't worried about Sheila, even though, she should be, and Deacon is sure he can keep his soon-to-be ex away from his new sweetheart. But how can they get around Steffi's ultimatum? In the episode's final moments, Electra expresses to Ivy her surprise at Dylan's news. "She was such a great friend," Electra says, completely forgetting her stint as the green-eyed monster. "It's for the best that Dylan is gone," Ivy insists. Lord, she really does sound like a Forrester when she gets all judge-y. Speaking of Dylan, just as she's about to leave the building, she literally runs into RJ, causing him to spill his drink. They introduce themselves to each other, and hello, Sparks. He even senses that she's troubled and offers to help. "Okay, I love these two." Back at Il Giardino, Sheila is wondering where Deacon is, while he's hanging with Taylor. "What are we doing?" she muses. "What feels right," he replies. He says that he couldn't live with himself if anything happened to her, but can't live without her either. "Nobody has ever made me feel seen the way that you do." Being good is hard for Deacon, he admits, but the fight isn't as tough with her. He even admits to what a creep he was. Owing to his rough past, he learned to walk around wearing metaphorical armor. With her, he can take it off. "Sheila didn't flinch when she saw the bad in me," he tells Taylor, "but you only see the good." Once again, the couple affirms that they need each other and seal their devotion with a kiss. A bunch of kisses, actually. Heck, they seemed all but one smooch away from making love right there on Steffi and Finn's couch. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal Hope Logan forgot just how petty her rival Steffi Forrester really can be. Hope and Queen Steffi have managed to keep the peace for nearly a year, but the ceasefire is coming to an abrupt end on the CBS soap. How far will Steffi go to make Hope stop meddling in their parents' affair? Here's what's coming up next on The Bold and the Beautiful. Keep reading for all the details. Steffi Forrester has forbidden Taylor Hayes from seeing her patient, lover Deacon Sharp. Steffi knows Sheila Carter could hurt her mom when the truth comes out. So, imagine Steffi's surprise when she finds out Hope Logan went behind her back and encouraged Taylor to hook up with Deacon. The claws are coming back out. According to B&B spoilers, Hope is going to find herself in a familiar position on the CBS soap. At the end of the day, Forrester Creations basically has the fate of her company, Hope for the Future, in their hands. If Steffi Forrester wants to hit Hope where it hurts, she can shut down HFTF. Steffi seems to be losing her cool over Taylor and Deacon. She might just be mad enough to fire Hope from Forrester Creations altogether. Considering the fact that she just married a Spencer, the Forresters might let Steffi send her packing this time. Hope Logan has poured her heart and soul into HFTF over the past decade. She had to fight tooth and nail to get the Forrester family to even consider reviving her line, and Carter Walton had to do some creative accounting to keep her afloat. Hope wants her father leave Sheila Carter, but is his relationship really worth losing HFTF? Will Steffi put her foot on Hope's neck and threaten to oust her from Forrester Creations if she doesn't back off? Eric Forrester and Katie Spencer will have another clandestine meeting next week on The Bold and the Beautiful. Katie is on cloud nine that she nabbed the Eric Forrester as her lead designer, but the bliss is set to come to an abrupt end when the truth comes out. Has Ridge's father crossed a line that he can't come back from? Keep reading to find out. Here's what's coming up next week on B&B, spoilers down below. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers show Eric Forrester will wow his new boss with some more of his collection, the same collection that he was trying to get his son Ridge Forrester to launch. Rather than supporting his dad's new showstopper, Ridge told him to go home and threw him a retirement party. The bitter patriarch's feelings were hurt, and he has been on a mission ever since to prove his son wrong. Soap viewers can't wait for Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan to find out what the patriarch has been up to. Ridge is going to be shocked that his father went this far to get one up on him and is now working for the enemy. Ridge will be even more appalled that Eric is willing to put his own family out of business just to prove that he's still got it. Come to think about it, Ridge's father might have taken things too far. Eric Forrester wants to get even with Ridge, but when the truth comes out and he realizes what he did, he could have a change of heart. Right now, Eric and Katie are having a blast because no one knows about their new alliance. When Ridge's father has to face his family after the truth comes out, he might start having a guilty conscience. Imagine how screwed Katie Spencer would be if Ridge convinced his father to pull his collection from Logan at the last minute. She's building her entire launch around Eric Forrester's designs. Do you think that Eric took his payback too far? On B&B, Wednesday, February 4th, brings fallout from Eric's forced retirement when Liam discovers he's designing for Katie's new fashion house. As that truth sinks in, Ridge is left grappling with intense guilt over choices he can't undo. The Bold and the Beautiful's must-watch moments for Wednesday, February 4th, include Liam learning that Eric is designing for Katie's new fashion house, Logan. Meanwhile, Ridge feels intense guilt. It's going to be a big day in Los Angeles. Ridge essentially forced Eric to retire from Forrester Creations. Eric wasn't ready to retire. In fact, he had a whole portfolio of new designs that were great. Unfortunately, Ridge refused to listen to his father. Instead, he planned a big retirement party for Eric, and Eric wasn't happy at all. At the same time, Katie received her own fashion house from Bill for their recent wedding. Of course, she's not really a designer, and she needed one pronto. Eric just so happened to be free, so he showed off his designs to Katie. Of course, Katie loved them because Eric is a professional with lots of designing left in him. In the February 3rd episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, Dylan quietly went along with Ivy's nefarious plan. She agreed that she would leave town as long as Ivy didn't tell Electra what happened the night she was away. Ivy was disgusted by what she witnessed the night before. She thought she saw an inappropriate interaction between Dylan and Will. But what really happened was an innocent night between two friends babysitting Hayes. Dylan didn't have plans to leave town. She was bullied into the decision. Ivy set her up after spying on her niece's friend the night she was away. She was disgusted by what she witnessed. In Ivy's mind, Dylan acted inappropriately with Electra's boyfriend. She took control of the situation by conning Dylan into leaving town. Ivy gave her money to fill her tank so she could go far away. Dylan was free to do whatever she wanted. She could have a new life elsewhere. She wasn't guaranteed a new place or job. Dylan could end up in a worse place. But Ivy doesn't care. And she doesn't care if her niece is heartbroken by this sudden news. Ivy doesn't even like Will. Some part of her believes that he could cheat on Electra because he carries the Spencer gene. But instead of taking up this issue with Will, she used Dylan as her punching bag. Ivy knew that she could regain control of a situation that was never hers in the first place. This is Electra's matter, and she can handle her friend, as she has before. Besides, Dylan is grateful for Electra's friendship and wouldn't disrespect her relationship. But that doesn't matter to Ivy. She just wants the problem gone, even though there wasn't one. On Tuesday's episode, Dylan ran into RJ, who has gotten comfortable with his position at Forrester Creations. Their eyes met as they crashed into each other. RJ pressed Dylan for questions. At first, she hesitated, but then she flirted as she grinned at him. RJ said he hoped to see her again. Dylan assured him that he wouldn't. But now, he needed to know more about Electra's friend. Dylan had already made an imprint in his mind. Ivy has no idea what's coming for her. Dylan could confess and spill the truth to Electra while she's gone, as she plans a quiet return to reclaim her place in Los Angeles. Could she come back and cause trouble for Ivy? What if Dylan falls for RJ, not Will? The bold and the beautiful's Ivy has a naughty plan. Some would say it's not proper. She told Dylan that if she leaves town, she won't tell Electra what happened. But this plan comes with a catch. Ivy blackmailed Dylan with a full tank of gas. Dylan wants a fresh start, and Ivy could be her get-out-of-jail-free card. The cost of living in Los Angeles is ridiculous. Ivy's money could provide Dylan with a clean break and the ability to lay low and disappear. After all, she wanted to hide out after running over Luna. She didn't want to deal with the media attention she created. While Dylan calls LA her home, she's an outsider. She only has one friend, Electra, and by association, Will. Her family doesn't live there, as far as we know. She doesn't have a job or a place to call her own. Her dream already crashed, and she should take the steps to get her life back on track. But that's not going to happen in a place like Los Angeles. Arguably, Dylan shouldn't run out of LA since she didn't do anything wrong. Ivy is being irrational about the situation and the couple's demands. She thinks she can get rid of the problem, even though cracks already exist in Electra and Will's relationship. B&B viewers noticed that Will has kept his feelings bottled up inside. He confessed to Dylan how he really felt about the Luna situation. He admitted that he felt like a burden in Electra's life. Dylan should confess to Electra and Will about Ivy's blackmail, but she'd better watch her back. There's nothing worse than a Forrester scorned. If Ivy feels betrayed, she'll make it her life's mission to ruin Dylan's life and to make sure she gets no opportunity in Los Angeles. Taking Ivy's money is a short-term solution, but she could end up in greater trouble than she is now. On the other hand, she could get the upper hand to expose Ivy and to make herself look good in the end. Once Electra finds out about her aunt's dirty deed, she might think differently of her. Electra has a hard time trusting her friends lately. But how will she feel about the woman who helped raise her? Carter is finally getting his happy ending on The Bold and the Beautiful. This comes amid Lawrence St. Victor's anniversary of his debut as Carter. In a new interview, he shared the storyline that he would love to dive into. Carter falls hard and fast. Just months ago, he was engaged to Hope, who didn't want to get married because she still had lingering feelings for Liam. The two had a mutual breakup, which led him to the love of his life, Daphne Rose. Carter has something else to celebrate. St. Victor recently marked the anniversary of his character's debut in January 2013. He worked his way up as COO of Forrester Creations. At one point, he tried to run the fashion house, but later changed his mind. The storyline allowed St. Victor to explore Carter's complicated feelings on the matter. But there's one storyline that he would love to dive into. In an interview with Soaps.com, he said, "I would love to get into Carter's family life. Like, why is he the way he is? He's a very interesting character to me because he presents himself as so good and earnest and so perfect. But then when he's in these relationships, it almost looks like he's trying too hard." St. Victor has a feeling that Carter is broken for some reason. It could have something to do with his family upbringing. When Carter first arrived in Los Angeles, he was searching for his biological parents. However, nothing came out of that. It was like there was something he was getting away from, St. Victor added. So I feel like there's something in their home life that was incredibly toxic, and for one son, made him flee to find his real family, and for the other son. At the time, Carter arrived with his brother Marcus. Very little is known about Carter's past and what else brought him to LA. Still, it's a mystery that St. Victor is ready to dig into. "I would love to go into his history of why he is the way he is," the actor added. Ivy Forrester has been single way too long on The Bold and the Beautiful. The Forrester spinster has so much time on her hands, she's going to launch a full-blown investigation into Will Spencer's new roomie Dylan. Aunt Ivy thinks that she's going to catch Miss Dylan red-handed seducing Dollar Bill Jr. But will she actually stumble upon something much worse when she is playing Nancy Drew? The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Dylan has no intention of leaving Los Angeles because Electra Forrester's aunt told her so. Ivy's going to be furious when she learns that Will Spencer's roomie still hasn't moved out, even after her super serious threats last week. Although Ivy has clearly lost her marbles, she's right about one thing, and Dylan is up to no good. Ivy Forrester will probably set up camp in the bushes at the beach house, hoping to catch Dylan and Will Spencer canoodling. But viewers at home know that there's a lot more going on with the homeless art teacher than just her crush on Electra's boyfriend. There's a chance that Dylan didn't even run Luna over and just lied to cash in on the wealthy young couple. Other popular soap rumors say Dylan is secretly related to someone we already know on Bold and the Beautiful. A popular fan theory on social media is that Dylan might even be the secret daughter of villainous Sheila Carter. Regardless, Miss Dylan has a lot of secrets, and Ivy Forrester could stumble upon one of them while she's spying on her. Do you think that Ivy is taking things too far? Should she invest some of this energy into finding her own boyfriend? Will she discover Dylan's hiding something crazy? Share your theories in the comments down below. And don't forget to keep checking back here on Soap Opera Spy for more Bold and Beautiful spoilers and news. The Bold and the Beautiful viewers were blindsided when Carter Walton proposed to Daphne Rose, and they began planning their Forrester Creations wedding. Seeing as how he was just engaged to Hope Logan the month before and barely knew her, Carter's proposal definitely raised a few eyebrows. Apparently, Carter's portrayer Lawrence St. Victor even thought the move was cringy. Carter Walton is the king of secondhand embarrassment on The Bold and the Beautiful. It's excruciating watching the handsome lawyer throwing himself at women. Carter is a catch, but his self-esteem definitely needs some work. According to B&B spoilers, Carter and Daphne Rose are moving full steam ahead with their wedding plans. But could his eagerness to get her to the altar start to push her away? At this point, it looks like Carter could care less who he marries, as long as they say, "I do." Daphne could start to get cold feet as the day gets closer, because her future husband is acting so desperate. With the big wedding right around the corner, Lawrence St. Victor sat down for an interview to promote his character's big storyline. Ironically, St. Victor revealed that even he had a tough time getting behind Carter's latest engagement and said that he's trying too hard. The Bold and the Beautiful actor told She Knows Soaps, "I would love to get into Carter's family life. Like, why is he the way he is? He's a very interesting character to me because he presents himself as so good and so earnest and so perfect. But then when he's in these relationships, it almost looks like he's trying too hard. What is broken inside of him that makes him feel like he has to work so hard to be good? I feel like that has to come from his family. Carter Walton's parents have never been introduced on the CBS soap opera, but rumors hint someone from his family might crash his wedding. Do you agree with Lawrence St. Victor? Is Carter trying too hard? Will his desperation scare Daphne away? Share your thoughts in the comments down below and keep checking back here on Soap Opera Spy for more bold and the beautiful news and updates. The bold and the beautiful spoilers are in for Tuesday, February 3rd, 26. Fans can expect Dylan to share unexpected news. R.J. Forrester impresses Carter Walton. Plus, Taylor Hayes and Deacon Sharp throw caution to the wind. Keep reading to find out what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Ivy Forrester. Fans watched as the woman couldn't go on the trip with Electra Forrester because she was sick. However, that very night, she was peering in windows at the beach house. The woman just happened to see Dylan fall into Will Spencer's lap. Ivy confronted Dylan and threw her some cash. Dylan is now supposed to fill up her tank with gas and keep driving until she runs out. Read this. The bold and the beautiful. Spoilers next 3 weeks. Katie goes too far. Steffi's plan backfires. New romantic messes. There is no way that Dylan wants to risk Electra's wrath. The girl keeps saying how much she adores Electra. So, she intends to take Ivy's deal. In fact, Dylan goes to Forrester Creations to say goodbye to Will and Electra. However, don't expect Dylan to get very far. The girl literally runs into R.J. Forrester. And sparks fly. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for tomorrow's episode reveal that Deacon and Taylor will be determined to be together. Taylor threw her medical oath out the window and has declared that Deacon needs to divorce Sheila Carter Sharp. Then, they exchanged the L word and kissed. Taylor and Deacon want to be together. However, that isn't going to be acceptable to Steffi Forrester Finnegan. Plus, does Deacon ever plan on letting Sheila Carter Sharp know the truth? There are also RJ's sketches. RJ will show off some of the sketches he's been working on. It would be just like Carter to be so impressed that he might extend an offer. Will Carter suggest that RJ could design Daphne Rose's wedding gown? Perhaps that could give the men an idea of a new wedding-themed fashion line. We also haven't seen Deke Sharp in a while, so maybe we will see him in scenes tomorrow. Whatever happened to Deke and Katie Logan Spencer's talk about the fashion house? I know Eric Forrester is currently the lead designer, but that's only supposed to be temporary, so stay tuned. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026? On The Bold and the Beautiful, Steffi Forrester is really the voice of reason as she warns Taylor that any connection to Deacon Sharp puts her directly in Sheila's sight. It's a moment fans have been waiting for. Steffi finally calls out the blatant absurdity of her mother's current choices. While Taylor seems to be wandering through a haze of loneliness, Steffi is stone-cold sober regarding the reality of their family dynamic. It takes everything I have not to yell at the screen. You've been shot by Sheila. You know what you're talking about. We all know the drill by now. Ridge waffles back to Brooke, and Taylor is left holding the bag, looking for any port in a storm. But choosing Deacon's port? That's not just a bad decision, it's a death wish. Steffi isn't mincing words, and she shouldn't. She's seen enough of Sheila Carter to know that the woman is a human landmine. You don't trifle with Sheila, and you certainly don't go sniffing around her husband if you value your safety or your life. She's as crazy as a donkey on a trike. Taylor is clearly desperate for a connection. After years of being Ridge's other option, she has a void to fill. But Deacon is married to the very woman who nearly ended Steffi and Finn's lives. Steffi's ultimatum on February 2nd was clear. Taylor needs to choose between this bizarre relationship with Deacon and her actual family. There is no middle ground when Sheila Carter is involved. It's just no man's land. If Taylor is truly this starved for interaction, maybe it's time she looks outside of Los Angeles. A change of scenery might do her some good. She could easily take a trip over to Beyond the Gates and spend some quality time on Nicole's couch. A session with Dr. Nicole Dupree might actually help her figure out why she thinks poking the Sheila-shaped bear is a productive use of her time. For once, Steffi is the one making total sense. She's lived through the trauma Sheila inflicts, and she recognizes that Deacon, no matter how much he claims to be a changed man, is the gateway to Sheila's obsession. Taylor's defense of Deacon as a friend who understands her falls flat when you consider the collateral damage. Steffi is rightfully forcing her mother to face the music before the melody turns into a funeral march. In the world of the Forresters, logic is often a rare commodity, but Steffi is hoarding it all right now. She knows that Sheila is always watching, and Taylor's proximity to Deacon is giving the villainess exactly the opening she needs to strike again. Taylor needs her head read if she thinks this ends well. Until she wakes up, Steffi is the only thing standing between the Forresters and another Sheila-induced catastrophe. Bold and the Beautiful, 2-week spoilers for February 2nd through the 13th suggest Brooke Logan is shocked and Bill Spencer being absolutely floored by something. Monday, February 2nd, we've got Taylor Hayes in shock because Steffi Forrester is going to drop an ultimatum. She tells Taylor if she doesn't cut Deacon Sharp out of her life completely, well then she's going to lose Steffi and Finn and the kids. Basically everything that's important to her. But now that Taylor and Deacon have professed their love to each other and they've kissed, there's no going back, even if they have to sneak around to be together. Plus, Melissa Dillon is reaching out trying to get a hold of Electra Forrester. I'm sure that Dillon wants to get out in front of the whole Will Spencer and valet situation before Ivy Forrester tells Electra she saw Daphne in his lap and goes on about how it's not proper. It's like they pulled Ivy from some 1960s black and white TV show, and she's the nosy neighbor peeking in windows saying that just won't do. Dillon and RJ Forrester literally bump into each other at Forrester Creations, which is interesting. It's kind of a mirror of how Electra ran into Will. So, Daphne says she's sorry, and then RJ introduces himself as Steffi's brother. If there are sparks there between Dillon and RJ, that would certainly help her case about the whole Will thing being something that was just totally misinterpreted. On Tuesday, February 3rd, RJ shows Carter Walton some designs that he's sketched up. I'm wondering if he'll be wowed by RJ designs since he is the Forrester golden child, or will Carter be less than impressed and wish they had kept Eric Forrester? I would like to see Carter tell RJ they're not good, but I'm sure he's going to say something nice. Electra and Will are shocked by Daphne Rose's news. She might tell Electra and Will that she's moving out of the beach house. Daphne may say she's going to figure something else out. If she has to live in her car, that's fine. Ivy told Daphne to leave Los Angeles and never come back. So, Daphne in a tight spot. But I don't think Will going to go for this. Deacon tells Taylor he doesn't know how they're supposed to give each other up. I'm guessing she's going to tell Deacon about Steffi ultimatum. But the bottom line is Deacon and Taylor refuse to be without each other, and they vow to be together in spite of the Sheila Carter danger and Steffi's severe ultimatum. Wednesday, February 4th, we've got Liam Spencer figuring out that Eric is now Katie Logan lead designer at Logan. I think Liam is going to be ecstatic, and he may run and tell Hope Logan, even though Eric's going to want this kept a secret and may try and swear Liam to secrecy as well. Obviously, Liam knows this will be a huge shock to the system for Ridge Forrester. Oh man, see what's Steffi and Brooke. I do wonder if they were going to try and keep Liam in the dark as well, and he just happened to walk into what is obviously a design meeting between Eric and Katie. Then Liam does the, oh okay, 1 + 1 is 2, and figures out what's going on here. Plus, Ridge is overcome with guilt on Wednesday, and I wonder if it's because he booted Eric out of his own company. I don't really buy into Ridge's guilt and the things that he says, because his actions show something differently. He had no problem surprising his dad with a forced retirement party. So, I give no credence to Ridge feeling guilty about anything because we all know he did what he wanted to do, and he was trying to rationalize it. Thursday, February 5th. We've got Deacon and Taylor locking lips again. They are enjoying another forbidden kiss. This is despite Steffi pressure and her ultimatum. But basically, they're in love. They're all in. They're not going to give up. Steffi and Sheila and everybody have created this situation to where Deacon and Taylor are almost like a Romeo and Juliet story. They are like teenagers that are told this is forbidden fruit, and that's making everything a little more exciting, which means it's probably not going to slow up. Friday, February 6th, we've got Ridge finding out from Steffi that Taylor has romantic feelings for Deacon. Now, I can't imagine that Ridge will be happy to hear this, But I think Brooke will be all about it because she's been talking about wanting Taylor to find her own destiny. I think Ridge and Steffi are going to be very disinclined to support this. I think Brooke might march herself over to see Taylor and ask, "Is it true?" And yes, I think you should go for it. Meanwhile, Katie looks over Eric's sketches on Friday, and she's completely blown away. Katie says this is exactly what she wanted for Logan. Eric reminds Katie this has to stay a secret for now. I think she's on board with keeping the secret that Eric is the designer. But Liam is a problem, and there's going to be more people coming to work there, which means more people trying to sit on the secret. Katie and Bill are both thrilled when Eric shows Katie his sketches. I think Bill is going to talk up what a big smash hit this Logan fashion show is going to be. Now that they have sketches in hand, they can fast-track the show. Sheila remains blissfully clueless about Taylor and Deacon, but that won't last long.